In front of you are my two Tri-fold 16-inch bicycles. On the left is my LitePro 9-speed external bicycle, and on the right is my wife's Week 8 6-speed internal bicycle. And I thought in this video I would tell you things to consider when deciding between an external or internal gear Tri-fold bicycle. First I'll look at the frame, the gears, and then things to consider which will determine upgrades that you can do to these bicycles. So in terms of the frame, the dimensions of both of these bicycles are identical. Unfolded, they are 151 centimeters long, and folded, they are 55 by 65 by 30 centimeters. In terms of the mounting points, the LitePro, the mounting point is vertical, and in terms of the Week 8, the mounting point is horizontal, or a fishtail connection point. So in terms of gears, this was a 9-speed, which I then downgraded to a 7-speed external, and it has a chain ring of 48 teeth. The Week 8 has a 6-speed system, which is 3 speeds internal hub and 2 speeds external. The first consideration is price. Basically, can you afford a Brompton or a Brompton clone? The Week 8 was 1,700 yuan and the LitePro was 1,800 yuan. The second point to consider is posture. Do you prefer a bent over posture while cycling or an upright posture? That will have an important implication because it determines what kind of handlebar you prefer. If you prefer a bent over posture, then it's important to get a straight handlebar. But if you prefer an upright posture, then you would want to get a U-shaped handlebar. The handlebars will have an important impact on accessories and the placement of these accessories. If you prefer a straight handlebar, that gives you plenty of space for a long grip, a bell, a mirror, a lamp, and a computer. But if you prefer a U-shaped handlebar, then that means that there's less space for placement. The selection of an external and internal gear system will have a big impact on cycling experience. So I found with the LitePro, with its external gear system, it had a good low gear. So the first gear is very good at a low speed, but at a high speed, the highest gear, 7th or 9th, is a bit low. As with the Week 8 with the internal gears, I found that the first gear was too high. There was too much tension, but the top gear, call it the 6th gear, is very fast. So I found that the LitePro is very good with this external gear system at going at a low speed, while the Week 8 with its internal gear is very good at going at a high speed. So if you do a lot of city driving with stop-go cycling, the external LitePro is a better option. But if you want to do longer distance, faster cycling, the internal Week 8 is a better choice. I found that the external LitePro has a lot of problems with skipping, and the tensioner is too low. The reason, as you can see, why my chain is hanging low is while cycling I had to avoid a car and I hit the side curb, and my chain tensioner over here bent and snapped. So I have to replace it with a new one. That isn't a problem with the Week 8 as it's quite a bit higher. Furthermore, with the gears, if you're used to cycling with an external gear system, it's going to be quite difficult to move to an internal gear system, such as the week 8. Why is that? With the LitePro external, you change gears while pedaling. But with the week 8, it's quite complex. So with the internal hub, you change gears by stopping pedaling and press in the gear shift. But to complicate matters, when you want to change gears on the external gears, then you change while pedaling. So in short, that's the external gear lever and that's the internal gear lever. So when you're cycling, external, you change while pedaling, and the internal, you stop pedaling to change. I found that quite difficult to get used to, and I don't think I ever will, because I'm used to using an external gear system. But if you've always used internal, it'll be easier to change to the week 8 compared to the LitePro, and vice versa. Furthermore, the next thing to think about is your height in terms of the saddle and seat post. My height is 183 centimeters, so I found both seat posts to be tall enough for me, but if you're above 185, you're going to have to buy a taller saddle. I found my LitePro to be very soft, comfortable, but the week 8 was too hard, so I bought this softer seat. On my left over there is the old saddle that came stock with my week 8. The next factor to consider is speed. Do you like to go fast, or are you mostly going to do town driving where you cycle at a low speed? Again with stop-start. So I found that the week 8 is better at high speed, long distance, while the LitePro with its external gears with a much lower first gear is better at stop-go city driving. So in conclusion, for me the biggest factor is the gear system. I prefer a low first gear, but also a high last gear. So that's good with the first gear. I've also found with an external gear system, this bike has been a nightmare in terms of maintenance. It's high cost to run, where with the week 8, I found that the more dependable, low maintenance, it's just simple to use, few problems. Where with the LitePro external system, I've had nothing but problems. So think very carefully what you want and what's best for you in terms of what suits you.